Welcome to ANIMAC, the showcase of animated cinema of Catalonia in this 25th special anniversary edition. Special in two ways. The obvious one, because of the pandemic, here we are online, and live from Lleida, where tonight the festival also starts on site and all over the weekend. Online will go on during this week and the next week until next Sunday, 7th of March. Welcome to everyone to this very much expected conference about our under construction film this year, which is The Island. But beforehand, I would like to introduce you to our guest today, very special guest today. This year, we made a top list with the best films, with the best 50 films of the last 25 years. A list where very outstanding critics and historians and curators took place. And in this top list, only one female director had two titles on it. That was Romanian filmmaker Anca Damian, creator of two breathtaking feature films of an unusual narrative, and a strong, very visually strong. We have the honor of getting a look at the work in progress of the latest project of Anca Damian, The Island, whose artistic director is Gina Thorstensten, whom you've seen this beautiful poster this year and the opening at the beginning of ANIMAC. I would like to say hello and welcome to Anca Damian that visited us a few years ago here in Lleida. Hi,
hello.
Anca.
Happy anniversary. Hello. Many years.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We hope next year to celebrate it with all of you. But for this year, here we are. And before entering the conversation, thank you everyone that is following us. And please, write us your question, because later on, after a little talk between Anca and myself, we'll be able to approach all your questions. Do you think, Anca, are you okay if you screen the teaser of the film so people can have a look about how it's going to look like, and then we talk about it? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Diary, Robinson's diary. You are shipwrecked on a deserted island. He's alone on a deserted island.
Everybody died on the ship.
He's alone on the island.
Everybody died on the ship.
He's alone on the island.
Everybody died on the ship.
He's alone on the island.
Everybody died on the ship.
He's alone on the island. Hello.
Hello.
I'm so alone.
Okay.
I'm alone too.
Are you?
Okay. We've seen this teaser. We can guess, but just to land in, it's about a sort of Robinson Crusoe or a modern version of it. You see, it's a film that is going to talk about very deep, important issues at this regularly in your work that you approach, like you did in Krulik, for instance. But here, in a way, you managed to put it together in a way that is beautiful and meaningful. Please tell me which subjects you will approach in your next film, The Island, or you are approaching right now.
So, first of all, The Island is the most atypical project that I've ever done. It is, when I say it is the most craziest, because it goes, it's a postmodern work that takes Robinson Crusoe, that was reinterpreted by Gelu Naum, Romanian Jewish surrealist poet, in a theatrical play, and then Bălănescu and Anca Damian wrote a concert based on his play, and I am the fourth reinterpretation of this chain. And I take Robinson Crusoe story and I put it nowadays in an island in a Mediterranean Sea. And of course, in my film, it is a surreal comedy based on this Robinson Crusoe story. The premise is taking in a purely artistic direction, departing from conventional storytelling to speak about current affairs through poetry and also symbolism. When I try to speak about it, I say it's a colored, poetical, and funny fable, musical fable, and the connections, the reference are Little Prince, of course, Robinson Crusoe, but also Monty Python, because it is the humor of Monty Python is also here. It is a typical project also because it is based on connecting all the arts. I say it is at the intersection of course, the music, because it's a musical, visual arts because it's animation, and I have a lot of reference from also from history of arts, and it connects also choreography. I work with a choreographer for the movements of the characters, and it is still a film because it is a film. It's in the shape of a film. So
well, actually, you are talking about the connecting all the arts. It's not the first time you do that, but it's very clear in this film that you have done so. And it's your way to approaching animation. I mean, in a very open, very experimental way. You already showed us, not only in your feature, in your short films as well. You already showed us in Krulik, even in Magic Mountain. It's a film made with counting with a lot of different voices or different animators, like Theodor Ushev, for instance, that is also in our top list of authors this year. And where this interest comes from, where you started to load this baggage, this artistic luggage, how Anca Damian became interested in all this artistic discipline that you are bringing to the animation world.
First of all, I say I myself a frustrated visual artist. I did 2 years of fine arts, but I said in this world there are wonderful artists and painters. So I went to cinema to study cinema as a kind of I had the feeling that I'm not good enough as a visual artist at those time. And of course, for me, I'm always I always connect animation with music in all my all the composer with whom I worked for my previous film won music prizes. I think that these arts go together. And I was so happy this time to connect also choreography, because being a musical, I said we should work with the movement of the characters, should define them on music. And in the beginning, the animators told me, well, it will take time, it will be not so easy, but I connected Andrea Gavelli, who is an actress and choreographer, and she did a great job. She gave a reference for the movement for all the characters, and even if it is unusual, we can start with that excerpt now of the choreography.
Sí, pirata. Okay, so let's watch this clip.
This was the pirate song. So even if it's a Robinson Crusoe, we have pirates.
Okay.
We have Friday, we have Robinson, we have mermaids. The mermaids are the ideal partner because they are imaginary women, a woman who's not real and can be a perfect partner for solitude, for sharing the solitude. The film is also about the solitude, being surrounded by people, which we also lived a lot in this year. And then the pirates are people that steal other people's belongings and lose parts of their body in exchange. So all this island is a kind of fable about our contemporary world. It is more than it goes beyond the Robinson Crusoe story, because both characters, Robinson and Friday, are trying to find the meaning of their life, and each one finds that the key, but in a different way. So it takes this premise of Robinson saves Friday, but also Friday saves Robinson, and eventually Friday becomes also takes the thermal blanket and becomes a kind of superhero and saves other Fridays that don't have a country and are floating on the sea. So all these stories of our issues, of our world issues, and the existentialist problem, what is why we are born and what is the meaning of our life, stay at the base of this funny comedy, if you allow me to say, because it for me it's very important to speak about important issues, but in a way that would be attractive to the audience and would be also entertaining. And for me also the look of this island had to be fascinating. You should be looking like a paradise, even if you see that the world is dying, because there are a lot of mutant animals with plastic, and so all this ecological imbalance is visible, but in a very beautiful way. And here, while working with Gina Torstensen, was one of the most important thing for the colors of the visuals and for the concept art. I mean, when I told Gina I don't like black clouds are coming, she came. The clouds should be pink because it is a chemical color. We understand that something is wrong, and it is also attractive, and in the same time you feel uncomfortable. It's like a sickness that goes in your body. And let's see her excerpt about how she's talking about the design, Gina's excerpt.
Okay.
It's both a very realistic place and a surreal place at the same time. We want it to be a very beautiful place, like stunningly beautiful nature, the ocean, the sky. It's almost like a paradise feeling to it. But at the same time, we want already in the beginning to hint to that there's something wrong, or maybe almost something sick at the same time with all this beauty. And during the course of the film, it evolves into something more crazy too. So I've been working with the natural elements, the main natural elements of the island, which is the ocean and the sky and the ground, with these three things, create that right atmosphere and that right balance of this beauty and weirdness. Also, the use of textures and materials have become very important here, because we use a mix of handmade, hand-painted textures, digitally created textures, and also photographic textures to convey different feelings of the spaces. And for example, hand-knitted woolen socks, actually knitted by my mother, have become the symbol of Robinson's discovered compassion in the end. I want all the elements here to feel special, and I want them to feel real and close at the same time as they have something magical about them. And that also goes for everything, also the smaller things like the stones and the plants, and obviously all the characters that have been a lot of fun to work with.
Wow, so beautiful, both clips that we've seen. I'm very impressed by the dancing of Andrea. Very contemporary, very expressive. I really like that. And Gina, what can I say? We commissioned her to do the poster this year of Anima. We love her graphics. And I think it really brings, as you say, very, very special touch. And being such a heavy subject, and that's my next question. How do you manage to bring, you were talking about important issues, but trying to make them appealing to the people? We already talked about, or Gina talked about her work, but how do you manage this serious issue and be entertaining at the same time? Because you're talking here about migration, about climate change. They're both very complicated, very challenging issues to approach.
I like a paradoxal way of including in the way you tell a story. If it is a drama and you don't laugh, then it is wrong, because life is a mix. It's a mix of everything. So mainly, if you think even Marona was a mix of, we were speaking about a dog who's dying, not about it, and still you were laughing. There were funny moments, and everything was you should look at the beautiful images and everything flowing in a wonderful imagery. So here. Also for me, speaking about important issue is not about doing a sad and an intellectual topic. It should go, you should have fun, you should laugh, you should be engaged in order to feel the drama. Otherwise, the drama is just a theoretical drama, and it's not touching you. So this is and what it is wonderful also in conceiving a film. Of course, we didn't arrive at this look from the beginning. It sounds easy, but it was a very deep research. This movie I was more difficult to have also the storyline and also the final look. From the beginning, it had a very difficult development. I had to enter in the belly of the project in order to see what it is good, because I had a lot of good ideas in the beginning that sounded well. I mean, one of the ideas was to do the sea with plastic during the day, colored collated plastic from what we throw, and during the night a garbage plastic. But I was thinking, would I look at the whole film with this? This sounds a good idea for a short, but not for a long. So it was more like entering, how should I see? And then I felt that it should be immersive. The reality, you should, if I would have money, I would have done in stereoscopic, but because it should be an immersive experience. You should feel that you are there. It's more like not the distance towards the world you are that it is in front of your eyes. So also what you saw on Gina's images were concept images, the final images, and now I would show some images from the final look of the film.
Mm-hmm.
If you can play them.
One after the next, it's okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
This is yeah, as you see.
Please comment. Yeah, please.
I'm commenting because as you see, the mermaid and also this plastic tail, it's done, everything. It is beautifully colored, but in the same time, there is the waste, the plastic waste that are in the character design included. This is the look of the sea as you saw in Gina drawing. Gina drawings were more conceptual drawings, and we went through the film because the sea was done in Houdini. And we had also a touch of 2D on the top to look like a Japanese stamp sometimes, to have the feeling. So also the how we animated the sea, it was also a big deal. And also I'm very excited how it looks now. You can go at the next image.
La siguiente.
This is an image from the carnival where people become what they like more. I mean, their desire become a part of their body. So here are, you see some of the characters. It was funny because the character design and a lot of things from the carnival were designed by Jordan Brunner, an American artist. And for example, she made a design, then Gina did a touch of colors. It was a ping pong between the people of the team in order to arrive at the final look. Also for the character design, I work with a Belgian animator, Mathieu Labey, that I love him, and he animated Robinson in a brilliant way. And for the character design, it was a ping pong between him and Gina to arrive at the final look. So Gina threw some ideas, he went and came back with others. So it was more like we discussed and everything at the end, it is a team result.
Teamwork.
The next image. Here it is also in Carnival Robinson. And at the next image, then this island has a geography, like a very specific identity. The sun is going on the horizon, it's never night. There is only one eclipse, and during this eclipse, the sea becomes the Golden Sea, and this is the moment when Friday leaves and takes a boat, and here his costume becomes a Superman costume. So this is also a magical moment, the metal sea, and also the transformation. What we did in animation, how the sea became a golden with this golden look. Let's go to the next image. Here it is Friday, who becomes the leader of the people without a land, the floating people, how I say, and he protects them. So this is the Superman Friday. And the next image. This is one of the image from the Dreams of Robinson. He's on a paper boat, and the mirror is the sea is like a mirror. He's mirroring the light, and he sees in front is the moment when he realizes that he saving others, he saves himself. And we can go at the next image. It's all okay.
Yeah.
I saw there was it.
Beautiful images. Yeah. Well, actually, in your work, I think there was a turning point in Marona's Fantastic Tale. Even though your films has always have a very strong direct dialogue with the audience, I remember first film I saw by Anca was Krulik, One Year in Nancy, and woo, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my goodness, so strong. And but definitely Krulik, for instance, was a film not with the intention of later Marona's Fantastic Tale, which was more thought for a wider audience. And was Marona for you a turning point, the fact of having a film reaching a much wider audience? Does it kind of change the way to go back to a more, I won't say documentary, but serious issue film, bringing other things that maybe you put in practice in Marona?
I think that when I started to do animation, Krulik was my first animation ever, and I started with a long feature, not with a short, and it was a way for me that simple style fitted that topic. I don't think that now I would go back to do a film like Krulik. And for me, what it is important, it is the challenge to find the best style for each story. I think that each film has a code. And for me, also getting wider audience, it is important that what you say, because what I'm saying, it is the same thing. Life is a love lesson. The only thing that we have to learn, it is to love the other, and to love the other till we sacrifice ourselves. This is a kind of in these sentences, you can apply to each of my movies. This is the heart of each of my movies. Even for Marona. For Marona, it was. I was so happy that I could hide a very profound topic. It is a philosophical tale, in fact, if you look at it, and to hide it in a film for the family, that it's a dog story. You don't imagine what it is about, and when you see it, it's not what I. And but getting wider audience, it is important, and I think that I'm developing towards it, but keeping doing in a way. Even if I try, I would not be able to do a mainstream film. Even if I say it is a mainstream film, it will never be. And there will be different films, but aiming to get a wider audience, because it's important that this themes goes to more people than I don't know. The island is for me funny, appealing, and in the same time entertaining, but it is a very different film, being a musical and constructing scenes like every scene is connected with so the dialogue is poetical, as you have have heard, I'm alone, do you want to share your solitude with me? It will be my pleasure. This is this kind of dialogue. For some people would sound, people don't speak like that because it flows, the film flows like a poem. So it could also find the audience that love this kind of feeling, being haunted like in a poem, fable. It's more like a different approach of cinema.
Well, and a very necessary approach here in Animac, we always insist on the diversity, you know, and definitely your eye is a very original one, and brings that diversity, creativity, bringing subjects, also the variety of artists involved, like the dancer we saw, Gina as an illustrator, and so on, that makes the project very, very rich. I was surprised when you mentioned in a conversation we had a couple of days ago that you are yourself producing the film at this moment. So that's to me something like quite outstanding, because already it's so complicated to direct a feature film. I can't imagine how it must be to be producing it with the pandemic on top. How are you managing to cope with all this hard work?
I was the main producer of all my films till now. So Krulik, Magic Mountain, Marona, even for Marona, even it was also a production with France and Belgium, I still was the lead producer of the project. In a way, for Romania, I am here is something very specific. All the directors have their companies, and either a wife or a brother become their producers. I don't have a husband to become my producer, either a brother or sister. So I took this charge for Romania, being main producer, but I'm also co-producing internationally, and now I'm also, the island is a co-production with France and Belgium. In France, we have two companies, Comadoli and Damopix. In Belgium, Take 5 and Mindsmeet. So in fact, in a way, I am the energy also that moves the project, and of course the challenge with the island being so different project. It was difficult to go through commissions that read a script and say, I need to understand this script. It should be, you should look at the film, listen the music, see the images, or imagine, or just trust me and say, well, I don't understand a lot, but looking at the designs and at hearing the music, I trust you. This is the only thing. So it was a difficult project, and also all this pandemic came in a way like the fate of the film, because Robinson is alone. It was, everything was, I felt that I have another burden that is similar with the story. And also we went through, the team was done, I'm working with a team in Romania, that they work for all my projects, and so with them, Dan Panaitescu and also other animators, it was in a way easier. And also other Mathieu Labey and Gilles Couvelier from France. There were also remote animators that work in France remotely, and they worked with their families being at home. So everything was injection of energy in him. And as we didn't have a lot of money, on the contrary, I had to supervise also the animation and the assistants, and do also I was in contact with everyone, and coordinating also as a production coordinator, but also as giving feedbacks as a lead animator on the work that people done remotely from their places. But it was, I always felt very excited to, and in the same time, in this exchange, you say, well, it's hard, but in the same time, this exchange make a personal relation with each one, and each one invests himself differently. This is something that you get. It is something that otherwise, I mean, everyone feels that he's important because I'm in contact with him, and we are. It is tiring, but in the same time gives a different energy to the project.
And it's very rewarding, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it shows, it definitely shows all this love for every single aspect of the film. And actually, you were talking about the way that sometimes you have to work in Romania, or the way sometimes in a kind of family business way. We have here Lara Pickle say that I barely see Romanian artists working in animation, and it always makes me very happy when I do find talented ones. Loving the talk is more of a remark. But I must say, I mean, I was in Bucharest in Animes Festival, which is a beautiful festival. And of course, you know, traditionally, the Eastern countries have had a very rich past in animation, you know. Is that the case in Romania too? Do you have like a...
Not really. I mean, the Slavic countries had a bigger tradition. I mean, Poland, Czech Republic, even Hungarian, they had a big tradition in animation. In Romania, there was Ion Popescu Gopo. He got a Palme d'Or in the 60s with a little a short film, and he was also very inventive, and he did also a long feature mixed with live action. He was a creative guy. And then there was a state studio of animation, but mainly they were doing very commercial, traditional, and not... So, in fact, the aim to do animation came when we had no school of animation, and my lead animator in Romania studied sculpture, and all the other animators studied art, not animation. So all of us had to learn by ourselves, and in fact, this gives you freedom. Because when we are discussing, we know in France you find a 2D animator doesn't know 3D, and no cutout. We know all the techniques, and we try also to mix the techniques in order to do something also economical well, but also innovative. It's not only also to find shortcuts for not having enough money, but not only because creatively you find, I mean, this rendering Houdini, I'm now doing a test for my next long feature, and it's more like working in 3D and rendering in Houdini gives more organic feeling of the space, and trying to find which technique fits the film, and also being free-minded. This is an attitude that, for example, in France there are great animators. I'm 2D animators. I'm in love with them. They are brilliant. They know their craft is, and sometimes they need to be pushed to be more free-minded because they did a school, and the teaching, I mean, when you want to do things differently, you should be you should convince them. Then, but there are
push them, push them to the edge.
But I'm in love with French animators, and also with Mathieu Labey from Belgium. He did a unique thing, and he's living in Liège. He's working at Camera, etc. A little bit in a more because his life also his mind set up of teaching, doing workshops, doing special films always, and in a way when I all the my team at the island were special, and I said, well, of course the film is special, but we're not. If you think all the team are special people who not necessarily I mean people who like to evolve, to think, to get the meaning of things.
But somehow I think it's amazing that you managed to mix this freedom that you say from this more of fine art background. That used to be the case when we didn't have in Spain animation schools. All the animators came from fine art school, and that was a quite exciting time, because even though technically the animation was a bit crappy, the artistic space and the freedom was absolutely amazing. And some of the great Spanish animators come from this time. They come from fine art school, you know, and they are, many of them, they are self-taught, you know.
Yeah.
But you sometimes, it's quite amazing that you've managed to mix this kind of really free fine art or mix art world with the more professional animators from France, from Belgium. So I'm really looking forward to see the film from what I've seen and what I've read about it. When the film will be finished, because you just mentioned a next film, so that probably you are just about to finish The Island or almost finishing it. Yeah, is that right?
At the end of March, it will be finished.
Wow, so it's almost there.
Yeah,
Any
we
plans?
we will do the final touch of the mix in 15th March, and of course now afterwards we are waiting festival premiere, and then we can discuss about releases and.
Okay. How is affecting now these uncertain times for premiering a big film, a feature film? Because I suppose that The Island, you know, should go to the main film festivals. And with this uncertainty, how is that affecting to the distribution of the film?
It is a lot of uncertainty, really, and what it is problematic is also that there are a lot of films that were not released last year, so it's a queue of films that are kept for the moment, for the right moment, and in the same time, and also a lot of pressure from distributors and from because it's something that they have the feeling that everything is slipping and they need to so I would say that I'm coming in a very difficult year, and it's a little bit challenging, really, to find a place where there is a lot of all the industries reshaping, and people don't know, and they try to get maximum possible for their films, and let's I think that Island is very out of the box. Very out of the box is not it's out of the box, but in a way crazy enough to either you like it, and when you like it you will like it a lot, and either you don't get it, and so there can't be a middle attitude.
Okay. Well, I really hope that next year, you know, we can screen The Island here in Lleida in the big screen in our beautiful 1,000 seats theater right here, and that you can come with us to celebrate this 25th plus one edition.
I would be happy to. I have so good memories from here.
Okay, I don't know if we have some questions from the people that are watching us. Yeah. Okay. So I just have just the last question, which is you mentioned this next project. You can unveil anything at all, or you prefer just not for the moment?
I'm presenting it in cartoon movie. By the way, I was today. It was the deadline of providing the online pitches again, which is very frustrating to shoot yourself in the camera and then to edit a pitch. I am pitching both projects. I mean, the island is in sneak preview. And Star Seed, which is my next project, it's again a family film, but in a kind a very it is inspired by an UFO encounter in Zimbabwe. So we are in Africa. We are. I would say it drives in a different direction, but it tells the same thing. Life is a love lesson, and all what we need to do is to love. So,
Oh wow!
time we encounter aliens. We are in Africa, so.
Well, thank you very much, Anca, because you are a very necessary filmmaker. Everything that you are bringing into the animation world is absolutely astonishing and so unique. And we can only thank you for that, for keeping such a spirit and such going forward with those unique projects. And thank you very much for having been with us, sharing this beautiful and meaningful project that is the island.
Thank you.
Okay, and see you next year, hopefully in Lleida with the film.